guys, what is going on? This is iAppleGeek. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Apple Watch Series 3. These things are known to be somewhat pricey, but I actually think this one is worth it. Let's take a look. So powering this device on, let's go ahead and see what is different. If you've owned an older Apple Watch, you would know that it takes quite a bit of time to set up. But this new Apple Watch actually utilizes this time to teach you some of the controls and button combinations of the Apple Watch. Now the specific model I have today is the 38mm Nike Plus Space Gray Aluminum GPS Series 3 Apple Watch with the Anthracite Nike Sport Band. Now that's longer than a Monday. First things first, let's go ahead and talk about the display on this device. This is a very tiny OLED display. It's actually using the same front panel as the Apple Watch Series 2. Now the argument of resolution doesn't really matter when it comes to a device this small, but brightness does. On paper it can go up to 1000 nits, so I don't think you have any problem seeing the display. Now its outer appearance isn't really that much different from the older models, of course with build material depending on which tier you get. But this year we actually have something really special, and that's the cellular data capabilities on the Apple Watch Series 3, giving you the same functionality of a phone. That way if you are not connected to Bluetooth on your iPhone, you can still do most of the things that you would normally be able to do. Normally your Apple Watch relied on your iPhone for information, or if you're in a recognized Wi-Fi network, it would pick up on that. But this year we actually have the LTE model, which allows you to send and receive messages, you can make calls, talk to Siri, stream music, use navigation, basically all the network features you would use on your phone, all while you're away from your iPhone. It is a little more expensive, and it does cost extra on your monthly data plan for your iPhone, and the digital crown will sport a red dot on those models. Now the Series 3 still retains the tier differences as we've seen before, so if you bought the lower end models, the front and back will be made of glass. It's what Apple calls Ion X, but if you go for cellular or the other higher end models, the front and back will be of a sapphire crystal composite. And like the previous generation, you can get this in stainless steel and ceramic in addition to the standard aluminum. Now one major feature of this device over the previous generation is the speed. I've noticed a much faster performance over the older Apple Watches. Things like pulling up the dock, opening applications, asking Siri, just everything in general feels a lot more fluid, and I think this is what the Apple Watch should have been from the start. Now due to that faster processor, Siri will now be able to talk out loud. What's the weather like in New York?
Nice weather coming up for New York today.
And hands-free Hey Siri also works. So with my phone turned over, Hey Siri, you suck. Now this new Apple Watch comes with a new sensor for the activity or workouts function. And the Series 3 now has an altimeter to track elevation. So if you're climbing or hiking, it'll be able to pick up on how high or how low you go. Or even if you're running uphill, downhill, it will be able to sense how your elevation changes, which is pretty cool. The heart rate monitor also has a few new features. In my experience, it seems to be pretty accurate, at least compared to other gym equipment, and it seems to do a good job of tracking what your heart rate is throughout the day. It even has a new feature that will alert you if you have an irregular, erratic heartbeat all of a sudden. This is when you have an elevated heart rate while you are not moving, which can be dangerous, and this feature can help detect that. Now, as you may know, watchOS 4 did bring several new watch faces to the Apple Watch, but if you do get the Nike Plus or the cellular models, you will have some more custom watch faces and customizable colors. So if you're looking for the most customization, go for those models. And having music controls on your wrist is literally the best thing since the iPod Nano. The GPS model comes with 8GB of internal storage, and the cellular with 16GB. So you can definitely sync your playlists for workouts, for running, whatever the case may be, and they'll all be stored locally on the watch so you don't even have to take your phone. And if you have Apple Music, you can enable these different mixes inside the watch app on your phone that will always sync new music every day or every week depending on what you choose, so it will change it up and keep it fresh. Also, the Series 3 has an exclusive Apple Music radio function. It's basically like Apple's version of Pandora if you're subscribed to Apple Music, but of course with no ads. And if you're rocking a pair of AirPods, this will go along quite nicely because now you have all the missing music controls on your wrist. Now the other thing I really like doing with the Apple Watch is getting notifications. You can set it to give you a little vibration or a little tap whenever you get a new message. Here you can quickly respond to a text message by sending a preset or using digital touch, using the scribble feature, or if it's really important, you can of course use dictation to write down what you are saying aloud. And this is cool because you can also send that recording if you don't want to send it as a text. Alright, so what? You can do all this stuff on the Apple Watch, but what if the battery dies? Well, I am happy to report the battery life isn't that bad. With moderate use, you can definitely get 2 to 3 days with the Apple Watch Series 3. With the cellular model, of course, it's going to be a little less depending on how much you use the cellular functions. Calling probably lasts about an hour. Yeah, it's not as long as Fitbits or Garmin or exclusive activity trackers, but you're basically getting a miniature smartphone with this device. You can charge the Apple Watch Series 3 via the world's weirdest charger, but it is magnetic and surprisingly easy to use. Tilt it over and you can get nightstand mode, but this will actually support portrait orientation in an upcoming update in preparation for the AirPower Matte, which of course supports the new iPhones, but as of right now the Apple Watch Series 3 does not support the wireless Qi charging standard, even though the AirPower Matte is actually a Qi charging standard, so to me this doesn't really make sense, but I'll have to take a closer look when that comes out. Now as for size, if you're wondering which size of the Apple Watch to get, I would definitely just go into a store and try it out for yourself. Because personally, I've used both the 42 and the 38mm, and I personally just prefer the smaller one because I don't like bigger watches, but that may be different for you. So is this thing worth buying? Well, yeah. It makes all of the older features much more enjoyable, plus you have cellular. It's a much better value than the older models. But anyways guys, what do you think about this device? It's still an accessory to the iPhone, but it's becoming less and less so. Be sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.